All right, welcome to Dicejunkies. I'm Xenodamus. I'm here with
Goo.
and on Skype.
BloodX.
All right, let's get started. First up, I think we're going to be talking about some Final Fantasy. Netflix, of course, Netflix has been doing a lot of these original shows, and
yeah, we need to catch the Castlevania last season, man.
we do need to catch the last season.
Because people are reviewing it. I don't want to spoilers because I've been very curious where that's going to go. They say they wrapped it up. I've heard that. Like, they apparently weren't expecting another season, so it's supposed to be a wrap up. So
okay, well, yeah, we'll have to check it out. I'm gonna shrink us a little bit on this screen. It's just annoying me that we're so much bigger than Blood Axe all of a sudden. I don't know why that is. All right. Well, I think his camera's higher than it normally is. So
yeah, he seems to be banking up a bit, so we're getting just the shoulders up.
Anyway, so Netflix, Final Fantasy VII.
Remake. Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah. I mean, is the story that much different?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, a lot.
I have not really kept up with.
Dude, they get into timey-wimey Kingdom Hearts style stuff. Damn near Heartless in it. It's very different. It's not a spoiler now. It's been out long enough. Okay. They changed the story up a lot. Like, I know
when the first part released, they were saying that was assumed, but I wasn't sure if it ever got really confirmed.
Yeah. They changed the entire ending of the first arc, and they implied that, like, Sephiroth is trying to alter the timeline, which is way different from the original game story, like, of what was happening by a good bit. There seems to be some weird crossover from timelines or alternate timelines, so I'm not surprised they're doing a series to try to make sense of it, because I think that was the biggest thing that threw people for a loop, was that nobody thought the remake would take those kind of liberties with the storyline, because, I mean, timelines was not any part of the original Final Fantasy story. The original Final Fantasy VII storyline at all. Now 8 and even possibly the first one. I think the first one you went back in time, but 7 specifically didn't go there. So a lot of people, some people liked it, some people didn't. More people, I think, disliked it than liked it. And it confused a lot of people. So making a show, maybe their attempt to, before they put out the next game, to bring people up to speed. I believe that this is because you said it's going to be concurrent with the first game when we were looking at it earlier, I think. Then you said, like, it's going to be kind of mainly going through the first.
So apparently it's going to lead up to and then go concurrent along with Final Fantasy Remake. From what they said, let's see. The animated dedicated to Final Fantasy VII Remake will tell new stories that intertwine with the plot and events of the main game. The first section will be dedicated to the events that will precede the story of Final Fantasy VII Remake, while the second section will be dedicated to events that occur simultaneously with the events of the game, coming to the end and also anticipating something for the future.
So the world's longest commercial for Final Fantasy VII Remake 2.
Yes.
That's what that sounds like. Or Part 2. I think with this, now, is that a bad thing? No. I mean, in fact, I haven't played Final Fantasy VII Remake because y'all all know how I feel about PlayStation. I'm not buying a console just to play it. I mean, you want to put it out on only PlayStation? You don't want me to play it. But if the anime is really good, I might be willing to do some finagling, because I do know a PlayStation owner who recently got an Xbox, and I may be able to see about borrowing his PlayStation to play Final Fantasy VII Remake.
You have to buy a controller.
I'll buy a no-name controller so Sony doesn't get any money.
There you go.
And I can't do anything about the game, unfortunately. I'll have to buy the game, but I'll watch the anime first to see if it can make sense of it, because from what I heard, I'd probably be better to watch the anime before I play it, because I'm one of those people that would probably be upset with the changes. And no, I'm a weirdo Kingdom Hearts fan.
At least the first section of the anime that's gonna be preceding it.
Yeah, I don't care about the part goes compared with the game, dude. It does stick enough to it changes near the end, not the middle. Like, I'm aware of most of it up to the end. I stopped before the changes because I thought I might play the game.
Well, just because of the intertwining.
Again, I've played Final Fantasy VII, so until the end part, I'll be fine. And I even know what the twist is actually already, man. By now, I already know what the twists are. But I want to play the game because I like action RPGs, but also see it for myself. But so I'm a bit optimistic. I mean, you have Netflix, you know me. I also canceled my Netflix for various reasons. People that been with the show long enough know why. And we all know Q's the most stubborn. I'm not going to. I hate all the stand-up comedy I'm missing out on, but I feel like I need to give them another year before I even look at them because they have not completely. We'll see after Castlevania. You know what? We'll let Castlevania. There's their chance. I'll check out Castlevania. I'll let that decide because they are trying to do some other stuff, but it's weird. I'm just thinking about. I'm literally talking about the game I won't play because of Sony. That's about to put out an anime on the streaming channel I won't watch because of cuties. It's hard having principles.
Yeah, that must suck for you. All right.
I have you though. You're willing to spend money on all this stuff, so you own a PlayStation. You got Netflix, so
He has an old PlayStation, not a new one.
Yeah.
I mean, that came out on the old one though. Like Sony,
But if you look at his investment strategy, he's changed his consoles from the PlayStation to the Xbox.
Well, he doesn't know how to speak Chinese. I know that sounds weird, but Epic, man. Sony and Epic, man, are getting like this.
All right. So, that's going to be it on that. Let's talk about Dungeons and Dragons, man. Dungeons and Dragons Dark Elf.
Please tell me it's good news. It's not weird stuff again, is it? They're not doing some other, is it race relations training?
No. So it's a new game. And it's a new game. So
I'm excited about this one, actually.
You're not allowed to play Drizzt, BloodX.
No, you've already given me exclusive ability to play Drizzt, bro.
Oh, well, black guy said you can? Well, you're allowed to now. You got permission from a black guy, and you can play Drizzt.
Is that how that works?
I don't know. Ask friggin' D&D at this point. I don't have any idea what's going on.
They blurred out the middle finger.
So if there's an orc, does that mean you have to play an orc?
I don't know. I can't. They don't represent the orcs appropriately in this game. In fact, now that I think about it, how are they making this game? The orcs look really tribal.
Yeah.
Maybe Wizard of the Coast isn't making the game. They're just licensing it.
Probably. It'll still get canceled. I mean, we'll play it, and everybody will play it because it's friggin' the Crystal Shard, and anybody who's a real D&D fan loves the Crystal Shard. Still, R.A. Salvatore is, like, one of the best arcs. Other than the actual, like, Drizzt books, the whole, like, Homecoming and all that were incredible. But Crystal Shards was the cherry popper that a lot of people started saying, these D&D books can actually be really good after the War of the Lance.
But the reason I'm bringing up Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance is because it will be included on the Xbox Game Pass on the day of release.
That's not all.
And it is also PC and Xbox cross-platform.
But also for people that have been coming back, it is a 4-player co-op, which we have been waiting. Co-op against the campaign, not multiplayer. Co-op. I will finally get to roll with my dogs through a game where we fight other people together, like I used to when I was a kid, when your friends would come over and I had to multi-tap. I all could play Nintendo and Super Nintendo together.
Now, this is pretty close to me because, I mean, I actually played this game with my brother, co-op. I played this game with my boy, Alan, the hands. Damian Fleece. So I mean, I played Dark Alliance, Baldur's Gate, Dark Alliance, and Dark Alliance 2 with a lot of friends as I grew up and went through the years. So it's really cool to see this come back, and I hope they do it justice. I really do hope they do it justice. I mean, and now I will say the story for the Baldur's Gate ones was but it was just a fun game to play with your friends.
I remember the book well enough that they're following the Crystal Shard pretty close. I mean, I didn't see Regis, but I'm sure he's there. But like, it looks like they're going in. Crystal Shard was good. But you want to know how tight we are? I gave him Drizzt, man. I gave him Drizzt. You know me and Drizzt, I read all the books, man. Me and Drizzt. Yeah. But I looked at BloodX and I said, man, I'll be Wolfgar. You'll be Bruner Battlehammer. I know you. You know, I can see him, man. He's got
Bruner is one of my favorite.
that famous headbutt, man.
yeah.
Man, he had that as a special move in the AD. Man, I can go back.
I loved Bruner. Bruner was awesome.
The headbutt, yes, I remember the AD&D rules where Bruner Battlehammer had a special headbutt attack, and then it got added later in 3.5 where you could shatter your helmet with a headbutt as a dwarven ability only dwarves could do. But I'll roll Wolfgar.
Yeah. I read all the books too, and I loved the Drizzt book. And you're right; it's almost like a Star Wars-esque story where you have the Crystal Shard, you have the Streams of Silver, and the Halfling's Gem, and then you go back and do Homeland, Exile, and Sojourn, like the prequels in Star Wars. And you have to read it in that order because it doesn't make it makes more sense to read them that way because you can see R.A. Salvatore going back and
I will say
working the prequels to fit what happened or what happened in the original.
Zach Fane, man, Drizzt's dad.
I tried reading the Dark Elf trilogy, or I did. I read the Dark Elf trilogy. Didn't care for it as much. Like honestly, Drizzt worked well with that group.
I love learning about new cultures, though, man. So to me, I guess because I've been doing it for so long, and by the time I read it, I loved it.
Dry though.
There was a lot of
long, drawn out, dry sections of the book.
Again, I get it, but it's a style. Like the Homecoming books, the Exile books, really have a lot of introspection. Drizzt really comes off as that like Ronin without a master or a home, and I get it. It's a very distinctive style. It does not feel almost like a fantasy. It almost feels like a samurai drama, but I grew up, man, in Texas. We had three things, dude. Mm-hmm. Westerns, samurai dramas, and old kung fu movies badly dubbed. That's all that came on TV. So for me, like I said, Lone Wolf and Cub.
Yeah.
Like on our recent interview, I brought that up. So for me, I was feeling that forlorn hero who sits by the water with the, am I really free? Will I be able to leave this path of blood? Now I can see him sitting there going like, man, go stab something. like Zach Fane, man, was a tragic story. Drizzt's father and what they did to him.
Oh yeah,
man.
Especially at the end of Sojourn. That was a tearjerker if you actually were getting into the book.
But they had a moment. They had a moment, man. And then his rivalry with Artemis. I mean, his rivalry with Artemis was famous. And honestly, well before the current age, a little bit of sexual tension there. Like, am I wrong, Clint? There was a little bit him and Artemis had a weird relationship that was really interesting. And now that I think about it, yeah, it was complex on a lot of weird levels.
Yeah, him and Jarlaxle both were kind of, skating
Jarlaxle. Yeah, Jarlaxle's the first bi character like I ever came into contact with. You want to know what? Dude was cool as hell.
Oh, with his hat with the plume on it. Oh yeah, he was hardcore.
he was the Lando Calrissian of the Dark Elves, man. He was awesome.
Yeah, that whole Brigand Darth thing was pretty interesting.
Brigand Darth, yeah.
A patriarchal group fighting a matriarchal society. That was it's a good read. I've tried to get my wife to read it. Unfortunately, she hasn't done that yet. But the original series focused on Wolfgar, but Drizzt stole the show, so he had to go back and write books based on Drizzt.
Yeah, like I said, I liked Drizzt in the original. He was one of my favorite characters in the original as
Dark Outsider.
All right, I say one of my favorites. They had so many good characters in that.
True. I liked Regis, man. I like what Regis. What did Regis do? Hey, Regis did some dirty stuff when he got pissed. No, remember the back? Yeah, Regis did some.
But when they went back and it was
Jim.
When they went back and it was just Drizzt and the Dark Elf trilogy, those books were slow read to me. Like, it took me a while to get through the 3 books.
It was just so much tension that I loved because even though I knew, well, here's the thing. I committed a grave sin, which may be, this is why I experienced it different from y'all. I actually read the Drizzt books first because down here they didn't have the Crystal Shard arc it wasn't even here. So I saw these R.A. Salvatore books, and I had read so many Forgotten Realms books. I was familiar with R.A. Salvatore, so I read them first. So I didn't know if Drizzt was going to die.
Clerics,
unlike
Quintet.
Everyone else. Yes, I love that Quintet. You know the guy, Quintus, I think. I'm having trouble with his name. But, I honestly, the Dark Elf books, because I read them first before the Crystal Shard, I really didn't know if Drizzt was going to die. So I read these books very tense and thinking he may never get out of the Underdark. That did change my experience dramatically because I was like,
yeah, I could see that. I could see where
everyone,
that.
yeah, well, his dad died. Like,
Yeah.
people I didn't think would die. Because one thing about Salvatore, he killed Dark Elves like it was nothing, man. Like, a lot of your characters in those books died.
And maybe that was the issue. Because, yeah, I never really got on the edge of my seat when it came to Drizzt. So.
Is he going to turn evil? Is the what's the unicorn god's name? Dang it. Because what's the unicorn god gonna accept him and ever give him magic? Remember, he's trying to, and like you guys that read the crystal shards, you're like, yeah, all that. He's fine. He's got friends, man. And I'm over here just going like, I don't think he's gonna make it. That is what happened. No, it makes a lot more sense. I read the little purple books. They were dark purple first.
Yeah.
Then I went and then what was funny? I didn't even know Drizzt was in the crystal shards. So then I said, I'm gonna read some more Salvatore books, and I was like, hey, it's Drizzt. Wait, what? And then I was like, this book came out first. And I was like. Then I said, you know what, though? I'm glad I read it the way I did it because it was way more. I thought he was going to die. Yeah. I kept thinking he was not going to make it. I really did. So I would tell somebody in a rare scenario, read the prequels first. It actually is a better. Well, actually, we've spoiled it all. Yeah, anyway, okay. Well, I mean, we couldn't not. He's in the game. You know, there's a dude running around.
Right. So.
But the key part about this, even if you're not into D&D, is if you like fantasy, because the reason we play Outriders is because it's an action RPG we can play together. But honestly, we're fantasy fans. And getting to run around with a fantasy character, even if I don't get to create my own, I don't care. Like I said, I'll be happy. I am pleased that my friends, I know they have favorite characters and we don't cross each other up. Because, I mean, you know me, I build strength builds all the time. And Wolfgar was, if you really know your stuff, Wolfgar was the only, like, strength 19 human in the entire book ever who had a natural strength of 19. Yes, I'm this geeky, dang it. Yeah, I didn't wear the glasses today. You might be confused. I know my stuff. I remember the stats. You know, I remember Drizzt had a percentage chance to insta-kill you in AD&D just because he was that badass. Yeah, that's how big his fan club was. He just got to cheat.
Drizzt is notorious for being a cheat character throughout
anything he's been put in paper.
Anything that even applied, referenced him, like, because how many fantasy games, I think even like almost every fantasy video game after that book, series, Drizzt became so popular, there would be some random character that you see named Drizzt, or, they'd,
they still
or
have,
some
in
bastard,
Soul Calibur 5, people are still making Drizzt
some bastardization of the name. You'll see them spell it differently, but it's Drizzt, And he became such a popular character that it just got put in everything.
Amongst tabletop gamers and D&D players, he was our Wolverine. He was the Wolverine of tabletop games. And literally, like I said, he was in a book because he kept insta-killing things. They tried to replicate that, and that's very broken in a video game to have a chance to just, you're dead, but they still did it. And you want to know what? Nobody complained.
Like, we all used to hate that guy who came to, or at least my group back then did, that came to the table and tried to make Drizzt.
Because they can't do it. You can't replicate perfection.
Recently I played a game with some other people, and there were younger groups of people, and one of them tried to do the dark elf, two-wielder.
I want a pet.
And I was just like, no, not this shit again.
I mean, the reason why I play dual weapon wielders, I don't normally go dark elven with it. But he's the reason why that when I play a fighter or a ranger, it's going to be a dual weapon wielder the majority of the time.
And weirdly for me, it's actually Shadow from Final Fantasy VI was a ninja character that dual wielded, and Edge from Final Fantasy IV. I always played ninja dual wielders, but Drizzt was awesome. And Ranger's the best way to do it. But honestly, now I'm going to insult Blood Axe real quick. The real reason we're giving him Drizzt is so he doesn't drag us down because Drizzt's broken. Don't tell him, no. There's no way he can suck with Drizzt. Drizzt, if Guinevere handle it for him, or Gunwiver, however you want to say it, the pet.
It's Gwenwivar.
Gwenwivar. Yeah, we're gonna Drizzt will carry him for us.
All right,
do the work.
Let's talk about some Starfield.
I didn't give you the overpowered character so you don't suck.
Being that,
Blood Axe, I'd never do that.
Q had to get in a jab on Blood Axe before we got out of that topic.
He knows what I went through on Outriders with him.
He's gotten better.
Why?
True, you couldn't get your equipment because I mean, even that guy backed you up. He said that if you don't have the cow,
that I'm trying to do.
Yes, but he has the ammo conservation powers that you couldn't find until recently. So yeah,
I got one too.
I got one of them.
It's the mobbing one, not
I mean,
boss.
Zeno hasn't had trouble with it, but
let's have one episode we don't talk about Outriders.
What? You want to talk about Outriders? Okay,
one episode.
I cleared Eye of the Storm. Okay, no, I didn't. I got carried.
Starfield. So the rumor reel surrounding Starfield gets busier by the day, says WWC.
I never got excited for sci-fi before.
Anyway, Jeff Grubb apparently tweeted out that Starfield is exclusive to Xbox and PC, period. This is me confirming that. So,
we're not going to make Bungie. We're not going to make a.
I'm glad I got that Xbox X in the other day. I'm just saying.
We're not going to make Bethesda make only games for Xbox, man. Then it's like, you know what, man? Fuck Sony. Like, we watched this Dicejunkies video, and he's right. Fuck Sony.
Also, we did have. Whoops, that's the wrong. There it is. We also had some leaks coming from somewhere. You never know with leaks if they're purposeful or not, but we got some images of the game. And not really a lot of information here. I've seen some videos where they've really broken down every element of these images. I'm not going to do that here.
I mean, it's a Bethesda game. They didn't show the upside down aliens yet. I mean, come on, man. I mean, I love Bethesda. It's going to be a little janky, so I'm not going to get overly excited at the first thing I see. Here's the thing that gets me. Apparently, there's going to be base building. Mm-hmm. And I had this theory back then that I felt that Fallout 4 was them kind of testing that out.
Yeah.
And now this has confirmed my theory that I believe that they put that in a Fallout because it has nothing to do with the story. If you actually played Fallout 4, you could never build anything in your fine.
It's got sort of a No Man's Sky element to the design.
Yeah, I saw that. Well, I mean, there's only so many sci-fi designs you could do.
Yeah,
but honestly, even with the idea that you're going to be going to planets and building stuff, No Man's Sky, but also that's just colonization. So I don't want to use No Man's Sky excessively to describe something that's been a sci-fi concept.
Well,
since
yeah,
before
no,
we were born.
I'm just
Oh no, I agree.
Also, for people who aren't looking at the screen right now, they can hear us describe it.
It can be confused for No Man's Sky. Like I saw a recent No Man's Sky video. By the way, man, that game is really picking up. Like I thought it would slow down, but
because I think it got on Game Pass, so a lot of people who weren't willing to give it a try have.
I've been
Plus, they're still expanding that game, man.
Oh yeah, there's another big expansion coming, and people are quite excited for it.
I gave it a try. I got my ass kicked. I'm like, deinstall.
That's nothing new.
That boy got a lot of quit in him.
Only with some games. You got to admit.
I still can't believe you're still playing Grounded. Because you used to die so often in that, but for some reason, he has all the talent for Grounded. Because, spiders love you. I thought spiders didn't like me, but spiders love him to the point that we'd be walking, and I just look up, and they would grab him and run off dang near. I'd be walking and be like, what? And you're like, there's a spider on me. I'd be like, you were right beside me a minute ago. How did that even happen?
I've got a couple of videos uploaded where I have triple wolf spider kills. So, yeah, no, I've gotten...
Well, no, you're killing them now. In the beginning, they were jumping us because we didn't have anything but, acorn armor, and we were getting plowed.
Oh, all right. So anyway, it looks like Starfield has gotten some more hype. I mean, it's supposed to come out this year, supposedly. So
here's the thing to me that Starfield has me excited about. One thing, and that is that No Man's Sky looks cool, but No Man's Sky is not an RPG, really. Still not really an RPG. Bethesda builds intricate character building systems, and I love that about it. And I'm looking forward to it.
It's also the first thing with their really major overhaul of their new engine. So we'll also see some of the capabilities we should be able to see in the next Elder Scrolls game. because this engine's been completely overhauled, and this is what Starfield is using, the engine that they plan to use for the next Elder Scrolls.
Well, let's hope they're going to do this then, because I think we all can agree that I preferred Elder Scrolls Skyrim was a good game. I didn't really like the way they changed the skills and leveling system. I preferred Oblivion and Morrowind. Same thing for Fallout 4. I thought Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 3's more intricate system was preferable.
Mm-hmm.
And the skills being properly, actually having a rank. And I'm hoping they go back to that deeper system, because I don't like RPG light.
Well,
I like RPG heavy, man. I like a
the engine supposedly got a pretty good overhaul, so we'll see what comes out of it. I mean, I'm pretty sure they'll do some more overhaul before Elder Scrolls fully gets out too. But we'll get to see some of the elements.
Don't mess up the magic, Bethesda. All right, we had to get a lot of modders had to fix your magic system in Skyrim. All right. To get it smooth, we want some magic that feels like magic. I don't know what's with this. Get with this recently, where magic's getting toned down, even on tabletop. 5th Ed, Pathfinder, 2nd edition. Magic's light. Mofo, it's magic. It's supposed to be magic. It's a single-player game. I don't care if magic's broken. I still play a warrior. My first Skyrim character was a warrior. My second Skyrim character was also a warrior. My third character is when I did magic. I started off with a dual-wielding red guard. I always red guarded up dual wield. Traditional red guard. I got the turban and everything, man. I go full red guard. My second build, I got the big 2-handed sword. I went full heavy armor. Third when I went magic.
Yeah, Teddy Sprinkles, just join the Xbox side. Come over to the Xbox side. You don't need a PS5.
Join us. You won't be playing Starfield on that PS5.
That's right. Who knows? You may not be playing the next Elder Scrolls. You never know what decision might be made by then.